This is Deckard6, and I will be playing Game Dev Tycoon for my $1 billion challenge. My goal will be to reach $1 billion by the end of the 35-year time frame. Each of these challenge games will be themed. I'm starting with RPGs because it's something I have a lot of experience with making in this game, and I consider it to be one of the easiest game types to make. So I'll be starting off on easy mode, seeing if I can reach my $1 billion with that, and then turning up the difficulty in future challenges. So let's get started. We need a name. Well, we're doing RPGs, so let's go with Tale Tellers. And we'll just go with Buddy for our player. That way I can just remember who he is. I like this look. Oh, maybe some different. Yeah, let's go for full-on nerd with this one. I will be importing hints, because there's no real way to hide the fact that I know a lot of this stuff, and this just makes it easy for me to see what I actually have done in the past. It's just a convenient way of gathering all the information. Alright, let's get rid of one. Sorry, Choo Choo, you're getting overwritten. Alright, starting off in the garage. We're developing small games at this point out of our garage. This feels very familiar. Let's take a look at our topics. This'll... Well, this is dire, right out of the gate. I don't think any of these topics are particularly good for RPGs. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever tried to make an evolution, a UFO, or alien or movie RPG before, so they might have some combination. So let's get interesting. Let's go with Alien, RPG. I don't have a whole lot of hope for this. This is just going to be to get us some research points out of the gate. So I'm going to go with the PC. It's got a low dev cost. Market share isn't that much lower than the G64. And it's good with RPGs. So this should be a fairly solid pick for us. Now let's go with Ripley's Adventure. An alien reference in there. Start with graphics. I don't know of any real reason to do text-based besides trying to cut your dev costs. I mean, I'm not expecting this to be successful, so it might be a good choice to go with the lower dev cost, but then we're not going to earn any experience toward our graphics. It's just something we need to do. Well, a couple of bubbles out of the start's not bad. If you're unfamiliar with the game, your goal is to earn as many, well, not necessarily as many, but you'll be earning design and technology points for your game. This generally is a good metric of how good your game is. These will be influenced partly by where you put your sliders on your various priorities throughout the game. Over down here, we can see my hints. That's what I imported when I started. These are generally showing me how well this type of game did with different slider options, how important they are for my previous makings of alien games and RPG games. Well, I have no alien RPGs in the past, so these are gray. That means they're best estimates based on my other games I've made. So, engine's not important, story and quest is super important, gameplay is important. Down here actually affects the time allocation bars, so all top is the same as all bottom. You're spending the same amount of time on each of them. So let's set these up and let it roll. It's really simple, but I find the little balls going up really satisfying. It's part of the reason I enjoy this game, is it's fun, it's satisfying. It's not the most in-depth sim I've ever played, not by a long shot, but it is one of the most fun. It's quick, it's easy, it's, dare I say, cute. Scratching his head, but that doesn't mean too much now. It just means we're sort of wasting time and money. Alright, bugs. Bugs get generated as you produce the game, and you have to go into post-dev to get rid of them. That's a natural consequence of development. We're not going to worry too much about them. Now this is actually some surprisingly satisfying numbers for this combination. I really wasn't expecting to get anything above 10. You can see here our experience in our various parts of making the game. Each of these match with our sliders earlier. Engine, gameplay, story quest, dialogue, level design, artificial intelligence, world design, graphics, sound, as well as an individual experience slider for our character. We received bonuses to this experience. We developed a new topic, first time using a topic, and new combo. New combo is fairly easy to get. I think changing systems is enough to get a new combo, such as your different platforms. So this encourages you to diversify, changing new topics, changing systems, changing game types. We're going to be somewhat limited in that since we're sticking with RPGs, and our topics are limited because we're trying to pick topics that are good with RPGs. So let's release it and see what the devs, the reviewers have for us. Meanwhile, I will generate a game report. This will give us information about our game. Why it did well or why it didn't. Alright, reviews coming in. This game does tend to work on a solid 1 to 10 schedule reviews sliders, so 6s and 7s actually aren't that bad for a first game. I'm actually quite pleased with this. Oh, please be an 8. I am more than pleased with this. Getting a 7 on your first game is basically what you can expect. You don't have any skills, particularly when you're choosing based on what limited options I had for topics. We're pulling in some comfortable cash. I'm glad I didn't try to just make that shovelware. I'm glad I put in some effort into making that a good game. Aliens and RPG is a great combination. Well, color me surprised. I was expecting okay at best. This is good. This opens up options for us in the future. And gives us a nice, good, solid start. Gameplay is quite important. Not surprising. We already knew gameplay was fairly important for RPGs for my tips at the beginning. So this just confirms that it's also very important for alien RPGs. We earned research points. We gained these for developing our games, for doing our game reports as well. So we then spend our research points in the research screen. We can't afford a custom engine yet. This will be important later when we're trying to boost our game score, but for the time being we need new topics. And once again, I'm quite pleased with our selections. I'm not sure if history is a great combo or if it's merely a good one, but that's not even an issue. I know from previous experience that medieval and virtual pet are great with RPG. So we'll be doing medieval. I have a plan for virtual pet later and I don't want to use it up yet. We'll see what we get later. So we're going to research medieval games. Medieval's a good genre if you're just playing a general game. Over 10k units, good start. It's a good one. It's got strategy, it's got simulation, it's got RPG, it's got action. I think even adventure works. I'm not sure if there's anything really bad with medieval. We'll develop a new game. We need a medieval game tale. So I'm just going to go with Peasant's Tale. Gives us room to grow later. You can move up to, Knight's Tale, Lord's Tale, all that stuff. We're going to pick medieval. Below here are the targeting demographics for each of the different genres. We'll get into those once we actually have the option to target them. RPG again, great combo. So since this is a great combo, and I know it's a great combo going in, I'm going to bank on the G64. It costs a little more to develop for, but its market share is only getting stronger right now, and it's equally good with RPGs compared to the PC. So let's bank on the G64. We're going to go with 2D graphics again. Do I adjust my sliders at all? This sort of extreme slider works very well at the beginning, making your least important all the way down and your most important all the way up. So I'm going to stick with this for the development stage. You can also see these are all in black, which means I've made a lot of medieval RPGs in my time. I've been able to confirm individually the importance of every single one of these things. Dialogue, level design, artificial intelligence, let's stick with those as well. Yes, I'm not going to be changing my sliders a whole lot over the course of this game. I'm going to find where they work and I'm going to stick with them. Once I start getting into more game features and having to prioritize getting those in, we got 120,000 in sales. I'll start to have to tweak my sliders there. Okay. Okay, we're not actually ahead of where we were last time. Oh, there we go, a little bit. We can sit in post-dev and hopefully earn a couple extra design and technology points. You won't earn nearly as many as you during the main course of the game, but you earn some. Alright, Commodore 64 is being awesome. Well, we know how this is going to eventually end, but for the time being, let's ride that gravy train. Alright, we got a couple extra points. Now, why am I holding out for even a couple extra points on this? Because your review scores are not just produced in a vacuum, not just objectively out of how many points you have. They're relative to how many points you earned last time. Your goal is steady and consistent improvement throughout the game. Every game should just be a little bit better than the one before it. Alright, we will then... don't have the game report yet. Let's start researching it. Why waste time? Alternate history, another one I know is really good with RPGs. Snagging that. The other option I'm considering, though, is possibly using some of the lower tier ones early. And I don't like things like Alien. It surprised me. And later on, when we're doing multi-million-dollar game devs, I don't want to try guessing on, let's say, Evolution. So I think I'll pick up Alternate History now because I know it's good and we're going to want it eventually. But I think my next game might actually be an Evolution RPG. Let's do our game report on Peasant's Tale. I expect to actually receive no new information from this. I've made so many medieval RPGs. No new insights. Yeah, this means it's basically told me everything it can about this particular game type in the past. Invento is coming out eventually. Not going to be truly relevant to us. The original NES only ranks okay with RPG. It's going to have a large market share, but it's not going to really match with what we're making. Right, so Evolution, Aliens was our big surprise. Let's try Evolution, see if we can get some information on that. We don't know if it's a good combo. So I haven't this for. But once again, gamble on the cheaper PC. Evolution RPG name. Let's go with Out of the Ocean. You're some fish lizard thing coming out of the ocean for the first time, exploring the strange terrestrial world. Sliders remain where they are. Once again, gray, because I haven't made these before. Yeah, this does not look like it's going to be nearly as good as the Alien RPGs. You can generally tell by your numbers right out of the gate if something's a good match. My only hope is that by keeping my sliders in the right spot, I don't botch this so hard that I end up losing a whole bunch of fans. Finish with the bugs. I'm not going to even wait for post-dev. This game's shovelware, straight up. It does, however, level up a lot of our skills, so we can make a nice, good, strong game next. Out of the Ocean. Come on, nothing lower than a 5, if I can help it. 4. 4. 4. See, are we losing anything from this? Vento's got its TES. I'm just gonna wait for a second and take a look at our initial... Oh yeah, losing fans. We now have access to contract work. Contracts are short-term, essentially races to reach a certain number of design and tech points. They give you a time, they give you a payout if you make it, give you a penalty if you don't. You also, in my opinion, the most important thing, generate research points while you're doing so. I'll do one just to show them off. See, we developed our design point goal and have to reach our tech point goal. And once that's met, we get $11,000. Not gonna get us to $1 billion that way. They refresh every 6 months. They're mainly good later on in the game when you have downtime between production to earn a little money, keep your team working. Generate a game report onto the ocean. Tell us exactly why this didn't work. Just titrating a little. Evolution and RPG is a terrible combination. Well, won't be doing that again. Ninja RPGs? I can't see it being worse than... I can't see it being worse than the Evolution RPG did. And we're still early in the game. At this point, we're mainly interested in earning experience and research points so that when we hit what I refer to as the trigger, we'll just catapult ourselves into the next stage of the game. We're going to make a Ninja RPG. Stick with the PC for the conservative dev costs. Ninja RPG name. Let's just go with Littlest Ninja. Something nice, maybe child-friendly. Yep, that made a tiny fraction of what our previous games have made. Less than $100,000 is not a good start. Once again, we don't know jack shit about Ninja RPGs in particular, just using our general RPG game knowledge. Well, there's some points here. It doesn't look as bad as the Evolution RPG was. The test is out. We have to consider that. This is going to be better than Out of the Ocean, but that's not saying much. As you can see, it's still significantly less than our good, successful games. This means that the metric it's measuring us against is still higher, so we're not going to get good reviews on this. Generate game report for Littlest Ninja. Reviews. I mean, it can't be worse, right? 4. Oh. Way to dig myself into a hole. Yeah, it can't be worse. Right. So, I thought that would at least be a passable RPG combination. Maybe just an okay or merely bad. It goes from a scale of 2 minuses to 3 plus. See, it's an okay combination. I guess it... game just wants us to do better. Okay isn't cutting it right now. Well, fantasy. Can't not research that if we're making RPGs, right? That's going to be our bread and butter. Alright, so we've experimented a little. We hit some new topics just to try to earn some experience for ourselves. And it's costing us money, it's costing us fans. But we're generating experience and we're generating research points, which is what we need right now. However, we can't just live on that forever. So I think it's time for us to make a surefire winner. Do we go for the TES? Its market share isn't that much higher than the G64 at the moment, so I'm going to go with the G64. the license cost is not going to be worth how much more I think we're actually going to make with the tests. So, fantasy game. Let's go with a simple orcs versus elves. Players can choose which side they play on, give them a little variety. Now you can see the points rolling in. See, by the end of our first phase, we're looking close to where we were at the end of development on Littlest Ninja and Out of the Ocean. Second phase. Oh yeah, that's coming up. We're nearly as good as we were in some of our previous games. I'm hoping that our leveled up in world design and graphics will also help us here. Our previous, I believe, was a 15-9, something like that. So now we're getting a 17-11. 18-12. That's even better. It's significantly higher than our previous record. And it's leveling up some. If there's a weakness to this sort of highly focused play, sticking with RPG games, it's going to be that our sound, our artificial intelligence, and our engine are going to consistently lag behind. At the same time, this won't be a big problem because we're also not making games where sounds, artificial intelligence, or engine are very important. It will limit our game features, though, in a little while. Right. Research. New topic. Let's pick up Virtual Pet because we're going to need it. I don't want to have to realize I've misspent my points later. Reviews, come on, big money. 8, that's a good solid one. 8, solid again. 9. As we get into this point of the game, we're going to look for our average to be at least an 8 for everything. Ideally, we're going to be looking at 9s and 10s. But right now, the tools we have to reach that are still fairly limited. So right now, these 8, 8, 9, 7, that gives us a solid average of 8. That's our threshold. If we're going to be making $1 billion, we need to be making good games. I'm going to finish research and probably get us up to the point where we're going to develop the next game and then cut it here. Alright. Research Virtual Pet. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of $1 Billion Challenge. I've been Deckard, and I look forward to seeing you next time.